A verdict echoes after nearly 4 decades. After 39 years, the Japanese justice system has finally reversed a decision that had shattered lives and cast a long shadow over a quiet Fukui town. A man convicted as a teenager for the 1986 murder of a junior high school student in Fukui Prefecture has been acquitted in a landmark retrial. This moment marks not only the end of a tortuous legal journey, but also the beginning of a national conversation about wrongful convictions, institutional fallibility, and the power of perseverance. Part 1. The tragedy that shook Fukui. A shocking discovery. On a summer morning in 1986, residents of Fukui Prefecture awoke to horrifying news. A junior high school girl, just 15 years old, had been found dead, murdered near her home. The small community, known for its safety and tranquility, was rocked by the brutality of the crime. A swift arrest. Within days, police arrested a 17-year-old boy who lived nearby. Under pressure to solve the case quickly, investigators pointed to circumstantial evidence and a confession allegedly made under duress. Despite inconsistencies in testimony and a lack of physical evidence linking him directly to the crime scene, he was convicted and sentenced to an extended term in juvenile detention. Part 2. A life lost to a systems error. Years behind bars. The young man spent the prime of his life incarcerated. While the world outside evolved, cell phones, the internet, global events, he remained confined in a system that refused to reconsider his fate. He maintained his innocence from the beginning, but Japan's legal system, known for its extremely high conviction rate, proved impenetrable for decades. Family and community stigma. His family was ostracized. Former friends turned their backs. Even after his release, society viewed him as a killer. He struggled to find work, relationships, and a sense of identity. The label followed him everywhere. "I didn't just lose my freedom," he later said, "I lost my name." Part 3. The long road to retrial. A glimmer of hope. In the early 2000s, a group of pro bono lawyers, activists, and journalists began to revisit old criminal cases in Japan. Among them was this Fukui case. Skeptical of the evidence and troubled by reports of a forced confession, they dug deeper. Breakthrough evidence. In 2019, forensic advances and testimony from independent pathologists raised doubts about the original autopsy report. DNA testing, once unavailable, was conducted on old evidence, yielding no match with the accused. At the same time, inconsistencies in the timeline presented by police surfaced. A retrial is granted. After years of legal petitions, the Fukui District Court announced in 2024 that it would allow a retrial. This was monumental. Retrials in Japan are exceedingly rare, especially in murder cases. The court cited reasonable doubts about the reliability of the original verdict. Part 4. The acquittal. Courtroom silence. On July 15, 2025, the verdict was read in a packed courtroom. Not guilty. The words hung in the air. The now 56-year-old man, holding back tears, clasped his lawyer's hand. For the first time in nearly 4 decades, he was not seen as a criminal in the eyes of the law. Judicial acknowledgement. The court admitted that the original trial was marred by investigative misconduct and an over-reliance on a confession taken without legal counsel. This was a grave miscarriage of justice, the presiding judge said. The prosecution failed to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Tears, apologies, and silence. There was no immediate comment from prosecutors, though the family of the victim expressed mixed emotions. "We've always wanted the truth," a surviving family member said. "We hope the real perpetrator is found someday, but we also believe this man should not suffer if he was not the one." Part 5. A broken system and calls for reform. A justice system under scrutiny. Japan's conviction rate hovers around 99.9%, prompting international criticism that the system favors prosecutors over defendants. This case, along with others like the Iwao Hakamada case, the world's longest-serving death row inmate who was recently acquitted, has added urgency to demands for reform. The problem of forced confessions. One of the central issues in this case was the alleged coerced confession. Japan's substitute prison system, where suspects can be detained for weeks without formal charges and interrogated without a lawyer present, has been criticized for decades. Legal experts, including Professor Keiko Tanaka of Waseda University, argue that the system prioritizes closing cases quickly over ensuring justice is served. She adds, "We must transition to evidence-based investigations and eliminate confession-centric prosecutions." Part 6. The man reclaims his life. A quiet life interrupted. The man had been working low-paying jobs and living under an assumed name. Now, he says he hopes to live simply, to reconnect with what little family he has left, and to help others who might be fighting similar battles. Financial compensation. Under Japanese law, those wrongfully convicted may apply for compensation. Though capped at 12,500 yen per day of wrongful detention, the total could amount to tens of millions of yen. Yet no sum, he said, could make up for what he lost. I don't want money. I want my years back. But I know that's not possible. Part 7. Societal Reckoning and a Glimpse of Hope. National dialogue sparked. The case has reignited public interest in wrongful convictions. Editorials in major Japanese newspapers have called for urgent reforms, mandatory recording of interrogations, access to legal counsel during questioning, and independent review panels for old cases. A symbol of endurance. For human rights advocates, this case symbolizes both deep injustice and extraordinary perseverance. This man didn't give up, said lawyer Hiroshi Ishikawa, who led the retrial team. He believed in truth, and eventually, truth prevailed. Hope after despair. The man now plans to write a memoir. Not to accuse or blame, he says, but to tell the story. So others don't feel alone when the world turns against them. Conclusion. From darkness to light. The Fukui Junior High School murder case remains a tragedy. A young girl lost her life, a family endured decades of unanswered questions, and a man lost nearly 40 years to injustice. But the retrial has become a symbol of redemption and a rare instance where the system, however late, sought to right a wrong. As Japan looks ahead, this case reminds us that justice delayed is not always justice denied, and that even after nearly 4 decades, hope can rise from the darkest depths of despair.